So my name is Silvia Italiani, and I've been working at Amadeus for 12 years. I'm part of the online segment strategy in the travel channel division, so we look after travel agencies, and my expertise is mainly in online. But actually part of my role is to look at consumer trends. And in our team, we do it through research, through talking to travel agencies all around the world, and applying new techniques such as scenario planning. In this context, a couple of years ago, we conducted a project partnering with a school which is based in the south of France, where my team is also located. How lucky are we? And the purpose of this study was to help travel retailers with physical shops to attract the younger generations to their stores. Digital natives who have never set their foot in a travel store. So what does it take to bring them to visit these stores? It can only be done through very innovative ideas and new perspectives. So we did this study, and when we shared the results with travel agencies and global tour operators, we met really with a lot of interest and in some cases really full alignment with the strategy we were proposing. We even published a white paper. At the end of my presentation, I will give you the URL to find it online. So if you stick with me till the end, I promise I will try to keep you awake, and then I will give you the link. So we did this study partnering with the Sustainable Design School. It's a school based in Nice, so in the south of France. And they have this mission of putting together creative students who are concerned about the planet with industries that want to innovate in a sustainable way. And the idea of partnering with a school for this project was really appealing to us, because of course these students are exactly the same age as the target group of customers that are the subject of the study, so the generation Z and Y. So we expected that they would really tune in with the motives and be able to find adapted solution for this customer segment. So we worked with 8 students, which were aged between 18 and 22 years old. The techniques applied by the Sustainable Design School is design thinking. So this is a technique for problem solving, which is really focusing on solutions and looking at having like this user-centered approach when thinking. And so the main characteristics are creativity, teamwork, empathy, curiosity, and the focus on the user. You really want to understand your users, what makes them tick, what are their motives, what they enjoy in life, and what technology they use, what is usable, useful. So it's not about making things more ergonomic. It's really about understanding. It's about creating this empathy, understanding why users, in this case, why they travel, what makes travel enjoyable to them. So we started the project with this mission, take generations Y and Z to travel stores. What does it take to do it? And when we talk about Generation Z in particular, these are people aged 5 to 20 years old today, so it's the age of my kids. So obviously they're just starting to travel on their own right now, but they are the adults of tomorrow. So when travel companies try to engage with them, it's really a far-fetched investment they're doing, because tomorrow they will be adults, they will travel with their family. Eventually, they will become the senior travelers. So it's really a long-term implication of engaging these users to the travel agencies. In the true spirit of design thinking, the first thing that our students did was to go around and try to understand these users, what travel is for them. So they conducted around 30 interviews at airports and around French cities. And here is what they found out. Not surprisingly, these generations, the Y and Z generation, are really digital and online focused. So they search for travel online, they book online, they want to customize the offer for themselves, and they do it all through websites or their social media community. And they like collecting the information, but they don't trust the official information, the photoshopped images, the professional description of destinations. What they trust is content that their peers share with them through the social media or the review sites. So that was really not surprising. What was an eye-opener for us is the emotional side of it. Because when you ask, and I've seen the videos that the students were recording during the interviews. So when you interview these young people and you ask them what travel means to them, they answer freedom, adventure, blending in new cultures, discovery. And I'm from the online agency world, and they hardly would say travel is finding the cheapest flight to the cheapest hotel to a standard mass market destination, right? And yet, they look online, and online, believe me, that's what they find, cheapest flights to cheapest hotels. So that's why we had this aha moment that maybe today they go online, but are they really finding something that is fulfilling for their emotional need? Is it maybe that the physical stores, the physical travel agencies that can provide this uniqueness of treatment, this human touch, this anticipation of adventure, is that maybe an opportunity for them to meet these generations? And we believe, yes, there is, but they need to move from like the physical human space more into the digital space as well to meet the needs and the habits of the younger people. So the solution is really in the blend of a physical and human and technology, of course. Based on the interviews, the project team compiled a questionnaire that was sent around Europe, and we received more than 500 responses from young people all around Europe. And that allowed us to really do some statistics. And at the question, if they visited travel stores, 77% of the respondents said that they had never set their foot in a travel store. Never. 20% occasionally when they were younger together with their parents. So you see there's a large room for improvement here to bring these people to travel stores. Regarding inspiration, half of them really get inspired by their social network. 1/3 from TV, another 14% from the web, and then a few from books, magazines, travel agencies, like physical travel agencies, nowhere. How do they organize their trips then? Well, they do it online, mostly through websites. In some cases, online travel agencies or directly websites from airlines and hotels. The 43% that said alone was still browsing online, but not through travel-oriented website, like non-travel-related website. And though the study was about travel retailers, we know that there is this trend, Nicole before really explained it a lot, about the concept stores. So our project team actually looked at concept stores in different businesses and analyze what works, what doesn't work for them. So the trend of a concept store is based on the idea of these places where you don't go to buy necessarily. You go to live the experience, to enjoy your time. And how do they achieve it? They achieve it through a modern look and feel, so refitting physically the shops, and providing also technology and experiences that are innovative. So different concept stores from technology, fashion, travel, food were measured in two axes. So how technology-oriented they are, or how like human-based they remain on the two sides, and then how they rely on immersive experience, on sensory experiences that really talk to the emotional side of customers, or they remain more like rationally informational. And so looking at these industries, they have taken like the good and the bad, the things that work and don't work for all cases. It was really also part of the analysis to come up with the perfect travel retailer. Part of the design thinking technique is that you are user-oriented, so you create profiles of your ideal users. They're called personas. So in that case, we have two personas here. A specimen from the Z generation, Victor, is 19 years old, he's a student. And an example of the Y generation, Chloe, she's a bit older, 25 years old, and she's already working, so she has a job. Both of them are described as people who really look for inspiration and services largely online. And they like to share, and they really live this digital world. But they have a slightly different characteristics because Victor, he likes to travel with his friends, so he needs slightly more organization in that sense, and he's looking for fun and party. Instead, Chloe travels with her best friend or her boyfriend, so she's more careful to have like authentic experiences, also improvising, and she's more willing to delegate part of the organization if she can get good advice. These are the travelers. This is the map of how they move across tools, across different steps of travel. Now, I don't think you can read all the details. I'll explain a few of it. So these are the three phases of the travel preparation, the execution of travel, and the after, remembering your trip. And here we have Victor and Chloe, and the third profile. The third profile was kind of added. He's a more mature guy. He has kids, family, so he's also part of the Y generation, but more on the mature side. And you see the differences. So in the initial part, the blue boxes, which are higher, are the offline tools. And in the lower part, you see the online tools. And here you have the detail of what they mean. So basically, when looking at inspiration, so where the Victor, Chloe are looking for inspiration for the next trip, they're very similar to each other. They all do it using all their channels, offline, online. They really collect information. They all explore whatever sources they have. But when it comes to actually planning and organizing the trip, the older guys who are maybe they work, they have a job, so maybe they also have less time available. They go rather for the one-stop shop, so that they do all their buying and organization using less resources, sometimes even offline. The student, Victor, he continues moving around all the possible online and offline sources. So he's really investing a lot of energy, of time, and of passion in the preparation of this trip. The part I like about this map is this one. It's dreaming. What does it mean? It means that your trip is booked, is planned, organized, and you're waiting to leave. And this time, Chloe and the older guy, they're not doing much. But Victor, even here in the dreaming phase, is still continuing to research, to explore online, offline. So he's really emotionally involved with the trip that is coming. There's a lot of expectation from it. Then there is this phase during the trip. During the trip, of course, they use various tools. But again, the online space is really inhabited by Victor. So even during the trip, he's highly connected. He's using online tools to book, to check the train table, to book taxi transfers, to find activities and book activities to do at destination, to share through Instagram or Facebook all the experiences he's living. So he's really online all the time, even during the trip. After the trip, they become again very similar to each other because they all share, obviously, with friends and online their experience. So that was really interesting to see how this gap of age and maybe the gap between a student and a worker is also affecting the tools they use at all stages of the trip. And if these are the travelers, who's the new travel agent? Meet Tom. Tom is the travel organization manager. Tom is in fact part of the same generation. Is one of them because he's passionate, he is passionate about travel, he shares the same motives, he enjoys the same thing as his customers. It's a perfect mix of professional attitude and friendly attitude. And though he's really inspiring in the way he provides the information and the services must be reliable. And what is really interesting about Tom is that he's hyper-connected. So he can be reached in the travel store or online through chat at any time. So there's really a continuum of human and digital communication, which is what makes it adapted to this generation. So the result of the study was to build the new ecosystem. And the new ecosystem is really moving around the human center of the Tom, the designer of the travel experience. There's the travel agency. And of course, we're talking about digital natives. So could we go without a mobile app? No, we couldn't. The mobile app that our students designed, well, they called it Share and Go. It's nothing revolutionary, but don't imagine the basic search and book app, and not even the kind of view my itinerary app. There are at least 2 features that make it the perfect match to the Y and Z generation. First feature is the chat. So the ability at any time to chat with your Tom, to continue this relationship, to be assisted all along in travel. And the second feature is the community aspect. The idea that all people using this app can be seen as a community, and you can search for new friends, for people who share the same interest, and maybe you can plan a trip together. It's kind of the mythic of travel. And in this community, after you share your experiences, you might get reviews, points, badges, and at a certain level, yourself become a travel expert, an advisor, a Tom. You can even become a Tom through this app and provide your advice to other travelers from the same group. But the mobile space doesn't stop at a mobile app. The problem with these young people is that they don't go often to the city center to do their shopping. They can be found in other places, at parties, at their friends' houses, at the university, at the train station. So if they don't go to the travel agency, could the travel agency go to them? And that's the two concepts that you find in this extended mobile inspirational space. And the first one that I'm going to show you is the qua. Qua in Latin means where, in which place. The idea of the qua is that it's a capsule. It's a capsule. It's a capsule that can be moved to the places where the young people are, at the concerts, for example, or any events where people would be attracted to. And this capsule is already attractive, already in the exterior, with this like digital screen, interactive screen, that really represent an invitation to go into it and live the experience. So imagine you are at a concert, listening to your preferred artist or music type, and you see this quad, this capsule, and you enter into that. And you get this like immersive screen that is showing you information about the event where you are, other events similar to that, that could be in the same region, for example, in the next weeks, or anywhere in the world. So you can explore for music events anywhere in the world, and maybe you find out the Burning Man in Nevada, you heard about it from friends who were there, and you get curious. So you want to know more, and you can view videos about it, and you can learn more when it will happen, where it is. You might be curious about the destination itself. So Nevada, where is it? What does it look like? What can I do there? And again, the information that you would be interested in is not the standard travel guide information. It's what other peers like you are sharing about that, what they enjoyed about the place. And as you start dreaming about a potential future trip to Nevada and to the Burning Man, why not discussing it with an expert, Tom? Who's the same age as you, who's an expert on the music and the destination, and can give you good advice. You can chat directly in the qua with Tom, or you can continue the chat through the mobile application, of course. Or you can make an appointment and go and see Tom at the travel agency. Or Tom might move to see you at the university. Why not? So that was qua. It remains, though it's an immersive experience, but it remains a capsule, so it's relatively small. It's really like an individual experience. What about groups of young people going around? Well, that was the second concept, the Take Me Along, developed by our designers. Take Me Along is a van. It's a van that provides inside a similar immersive experience. So the scenario is this. You are at the university just after your courses, and you are with your friends, and you need to go to the train station to take the train and go home. And you see this very interesting van from the travel agency passing by, and you're really attracted, you would be curious. But of course you need to leave, you need to go to the station. So the magic is the van can take you and your friends to the station. And during the trip, you can spend your time interacting with the screens and, for example, taking a quiz together in team, having fun taking a quiz that will help you determine what would be an ideal destination working for you and your friends. So say that the result of the quiz is Africa. And then, as the van moves, all the screens that are surrounding you start displaying the savannah. So you get lions running close to you at the same speed as the van is going. And you can even have the sounds or even the smell of your destination. And it's really like the dreaming that starts. And when you get to the station and you have to jump out of the van and then it's raining, cold, and gray outside, that's where you are inspired to continue the conversation. Continue it with a Tom, and again, that would be a chat, potentially. And why not taking an appointment to discuss further about a trip to Africa? So, we have explored this mobile space, these concepts that are really going to the places where our target customers are. But let's come to the focus, to the store itself. The store is the home of Tom. So it's really where you want to bring, eventually, these young people. So the store is called IFTA. So what does it mean? It means, if the agency were a place where I can relax, where I can just hang out with friends, chatting, reading books, spending time, studying between 2 lessons, working. Now, I've been presenting this concept to a few global travel agencies and tour operators. And typically, I get 2 reactions. The first reaction is, what? No. People have to enter the travel agency and they have to buy a trip. So they see the travel agency, the store, as a very effective conversion funnel to the purchase. Fair enough. But then there's the second reaction from a different maybe type of players. And they say, wow, yes, I want a place where people come, where I want these students, these young people to stay in my shop. Because people attract other people. And when I was telling this to my husband the other day, I was explaining him the concept. And he told me, yeah, but you need girls to make it work. So that could be okay. But the concept is this, that you want people around. You want them to stick to your brand, to your shops. Eventually, they will buy. Eventually. It's not the first target. So how does the IFTA agency look like? It's already attractive in the exterior. And again, imagine these big screens, which are not just passive screens displaying destinations, they're active. And as you pass by and you walk, they display your image, but in augmented reality, you are kind of immersed at the destination. So you get these mountains with the snow, and you see yourself pictures in a snow attire, in full ski attire. Or it's beach and you are in bikini, or crossing, I don't know, bikini in the snow, why not? And it's already extremely catching attention. Imagine doing it with kids. That's really a good motive to enter the travel agency. And what do you find inside the travel agency? Now that's where things get really interesting, because a lot of it is based on screens again, but it's not screen displaying like the standard, nicely photoshopped images. It's images or videos that people are sharing. So you remember the Share and Go application? People are going on holiday and they just share the video of themselves live at the destination, and you see it here. So you could talk to a peer, to another student like you, who's at the moment riding an elephant in Thailand, and he can tell you about the experience live. So all customers, all travelers become themselves just-in-time experts. And you can really share with them and be inspired by what they are doing, what they're sharing. And together with your friends, you could really start planning your next trip using these interactive tables and all the tools that the travel agency is having in the shop. Or maybe you just have some time and you want to relax. And for example, just lay down in a hammock, reading a book, or like scrolling through images on a tablet. And as you do that, we want to stimulate all senses. It's not just about vision. It's not just about receiving information or being inspired by images, because smells are important. Touch is important. Because when you start stimulating all the senses, the experience in the brain moves from a high-level rational to a very deep emotional layer. So it becomes a very engaging experience. And it looks like these people are not buying anything, but eventually they're there. They're your customers already, because just they enjoy being with you. Another area of the travel agency could be cozy sofas where you sit with your Tom and through a tablet is showing all the different offers and giving advice and eventually planning the trip together. So that really seems like a futuristic approach to the travel store, but it's not that futuristic, because we have seen a lot of players who have already moved into that. I think that was a question that was asked before, if travel agents are already embracing this concept of experience. Well, they are. A few of them are actually very active in refitting, redesigning the experience in the store. We got some examples. I can talk about Thomas Cook. Thomas Cook made a research across their users, and they saw that 46%, almost half of their customers, would want to have human advice, direct human conversation, before buying a trip. So even if they eventually buy on the website, they first want to talk to a person about that. So what they did is that they brought their travel agency to meet the persons where they are, in shopping centers, in malls. They showed up with these small booths, and they had these very simple devices for virtual reality. So that they would invite customers or potential customers to experience destination and to enjoy some time during their shopping. Another example is TUI. TUI are refitting. This is their office, their store in Strasbourg. They are refitting their stores to this concept of cozy sofa, screens. They have this screen displaying a map, and the travel agent can draw actually on the screen and on the map, and help customers visualizing the itinerary of the tour, which is also very effective. Another example, I think it was mentioned, is Flight Centre. They are refitting their hyper stores. This one is Toronto. And what they're doing is that they're adapting them to the fashion, so that's modern industrial style. And they're also keeping the stores with more technology, and again, it's screens mainly, displaying in real time the best offers of the day. Another example is STA. Now, STA is the network of travel agencies for students, so you can imagine how much they are into that. They are refitting their stores, and look at what they're doing. There are tables where people can just come in and do their own homework, study, work, enjoying time together, and sometimes browsing for information on travel and destinations. Actually, STA is really embracing this concept. I want people in our stores. I want them to enjoy the place. I want them as customers, even if they don't buy yet. Another interesting concept is Via Via. It's not even a travel agency. They define themselves as meeting places for travelers. So there are these kind of coffee shops that organize workshops, events about travel. They are around the world. And if you are a traveler and you go in a certain destination and you find one of them, it's like the home of this traveler community. But they also sell activities, of course. So is this approach working? It does. We have testimonial from Avas Voyage. They also refitted their stores. It's a more basic refitting, so it's not really exploring the farthest of this concept. But already, in the refitting, they put this sofa, so they eliminated the concept of the desk where the travel agent is sitting on one side and the customer is sitting on the opposite side, and there's a screen between them that the customer cannot see. So it's more on a collaborative way of shopping with the travel agent. And apparently, this does convert. Their statistics say that if before out of 10 people entering the shop, 5 were purchasing, with the new shops it's 7. So that they gained conversion. And what is even more interesting, and that a lot of visitors that enter the shops are there for the first time. So 25% of new visitors in the refitted shops. So the travel experience stores is a concept that is already out there and is working. Now, I'm from Amadeus. We are a technology company. What's our role in all this? Are we going to do design of interiors? No. Are we going to sell furniture? No. So why do we do this type of study? Because the thing that emerged clearly is that in order to get Chloe involved with her Tom, you really need this substrate of technology. You need the technology that animates their conversation along all the phases, because Tom has to get in his tablet all the good inspirational content, all the right offers which are targeted to Chloe or to Victor. He needs to be able to personalize it, to assist them in all phases of travel, even when they are at destination and there's a problem, there's a delay in a flight, the hotel room is not available. He needs to be ready and have the technology to assist and to help them. So this conversation that is at the core, this human conversation that is at the core, is actually supported by strong technology. And that's where we see our role here as Amadeus. So I'm at the end. And as I promised, here is the link to the white paper that we published. And I just want to say how lucky I am to do this job, because it's so exciting trying to predict the future, looking at what's going to happen. But even more exciting is really creating this future.
It's awesome. Thank you so much, Silvia, for giving a round of applause. Thank you for sharing that.
A few survivors.
If anyone has a question in the audience for Silvia, I have one question, and then we'll wrap it up. But unless someone else thinks of a question, but and this might be a bit of a curveball for you, but when you made the statement about millennials not using travel agents, I've heard sort of different statistics about that, and I had a bit of a search, and it seems to be that in the United States, there was one piece of research that came out from MMGY Global that millennials are more likely to think about using a travel agent, almost twice as likely as baby boomers, for example. So is there a difference in terms of regions around the world where travel agents, they're obviously very popular in Australia, where I'm from, Flight Centre. I just wanted to know if...
Yeah, actually, the questionnaires were sent out in Europe. So that was the type of audience we had was Europe. Also, they were sent out online. So it's maybe already like a selection of your audience. You're targeting already online users largely. I think there are differences as well between like large cities or smaller places. The technical education of the younger people, for sure, that there are different trends that are crossing here.
Right.
We were really trying to target here the digital natives, those that are really today fully online oriented, and what should you do to attract them?
And that, you called it a qua. The
Yes.
thing that you kind of get in. Is that? Have you made one of them? I mean, it looked like it was a sort of a Photoshop.
Yeah, it's a concept that
Right.
the designers, the students had just imagined it.
Okay.
I don't think that has been.
One exists. Or,
No.
Okay.
But regarding the van, for example, when we presented it to some travel agencies, they was, yes, we had the same idea. So it might be that at some point you will see some travel agency vans like the Take Me Along moving around. So we're not really providing it as a product or even as an innovation ourselves. But we know that there is interest.
Any questions from you guys to Silvia? No? Well, in that case, please give it up for Silvia Italiani. Thank you very much from Amadeus.